This is the Medusa, requesting permission to land.
Permission granted.
A tightly sealed black metal cube is being pulled out of the pile of hundreds of similar metal cubes by a large AI-driven mechanical claw, the mechanical hum echoing chillingly in the air. Daniel stares at the black metal cube being transported by the mechanical claw and turns to Brogan.
What do you think is inside this box?
It's classified, Daniel. Besides, I don't know. Let me remind you again. Ensure Object14 is delivered on time. Do not touch or open it. This is a direct order.
The mysterious worker's face is expressionless. After speaking, he immediately turns to do other things, appearing emotionless.
What's wrong with these people?
The soldier uneasily looks around, leaning slightly closer to Brogan.
I've heard they're all gone crazy. I hate this creepy place, this job.
Quit whining about it. Object14 is loaded.
The Medusa hovers silently outside the atmosphere of Proxima B, its hull faintly glowing. Some crew members stand by the portholes, gazing at the endless sea of stars.
Orders from the Federal Military Department have arrived.
The captain looks down at the panel, leans back in his chair with a slight turn of his head and says,
Engage the warp drive. Destination Earth.
Low murmurs and barely contained cheers begin to fill the bridge.
God bless, it's finally our turn after 8 months.
The captain smiles faintly, sharing the sentiment. He stands up, straightens his posture, and clasps his hands behind his back, speaking seriously.
Now is not the time to celebrate. Everyone must stay vigilant and ensure the success of this mission.
All systems ready, sir.
The crew gathers in small groups, speaking in hushed tones.
Did you see the new orders? We're heading back to Earth.
A transport mission. Never had such good luck.
Excitement flickers in the tired eyes of the crew as another female voice joins in.
What were they up to on Proxima B, Daniel? Tell me what you saw.
I didn't see much, just a bunch of...
Lieutenant Brogan, sipping tea in the distance, suddenly interrupts.
We all know that's classified.
Relax, Brogan. It's just chat talk.
Before Brogan can walk away, the crew resumes their conversation.
I bet they're working on new weapons to fight the rebels.
If that's true, I hope it works, so we can get home sooner.
They're just a bunch of rioting workers. Is it really necessary?
At that moment, the communicator panel suddenly beeps, interrupting their conversation.
Captain's orders. Cargo 1C is sealed off. No one is allowed near. Third shift rotation starts now. Groups 3 and 7.
Finally, some rest. Whatever, here's to going back to Earth.
Edward raises his teacup.
To going back to Earth.
Brogan glances at them, raising his teacup in response. In the soundproof lounge, it is so quiet that only the faint sound of breathing can be heard. Brogan checks his messages, having received nothing from the outside world since boarding the ship. He refreshes his mailbox repeatedly, the silence growing increasingly eerie.
General quarters. General quarters.
What's happening?
Warning. Unusual activity detected. Lockdown procedures activated.
Two soldiers instantly wake up, staring at the AI panel.
How is that possible? We're in warp. No one can board the ship.
What should we do, sir?
William and Daniel both look at Brogan, whose gaze shifts slowly from the AI panel to the floor.
They didn't destroy the ship outright, which means they want to take control. We need to secure the bridge immediately.
In the flickering red alarm lights and dim, half-powered corridors, the three of them make their way nervously to the bridge control center, the shadows around them seeming to watch. Brogan anxiously checks the AI panel, slapping it with his hand to get it to work.
Lieutenant, use my communicator.
Brogan opens the communicator, but all he hears are shouts and gunfire.
This is Team 6. Do you copy? Do you copy?
What's happening? What should we do?
Daniel, calm down.
Suddenly, a massive explosion echoes through the ship. The shockwave throws them to the ground. The walls of the corridor are torn apart, and debris rains down like a storm. Sparks fly. The red alarm lights flicker in the darkness, with danger and fear gripping every corner.
Is everyone okay? Anyone hurt?
William struggles to stand.
Don't worry about me, I'm fine.
Daniel sits on the ground, pale, gripping his gun tightly, his eyes filled with tension and anxiety. Brogan helps him up, reassuring him.
I promise you, sooner or later, we'll make it back to Earth.
Daniel's communicator suddenly activates, with the captain's voice coming through amidst noise and gunfire.
This is Captain Rogers. The bridge is under attack from rebels. All armed personnel report to the bridge immediately. For the Federation. Repeat, this is not a drill. This is Captain Rogers. All armed personnel report to the bridge immediately.
William closes his eyes, one hand groping along the wall, feeling for the direction of the vibrations. He opens his eyes and says,
The explosion came from the cargo direction. They're trying to breach the cargo doors. Object14 and the reactor room. I need to check it out. I did 2 years as a scout in the colonies. I can do this, sir.
Brogan remains silent for a long time, then speaks with difficulty.
Are you sure about this?
I am sure.
William straightens up, facing Brogan, gives a solemn salute.
See you on Earth, sir.
Brogan and Daniel make their way down the dark corridor toward the bridge. When they reach a guard station, the sight is shocking. Soldiers' bodies and weapons scattered everywhere, flames burning, smoke and the smell of scorched smell into the air. The guards here clearly face to attack.
Keep your head down! I'll look for survivors.
Brogan checks the bodies on the ground. Suddenly, a figure in red emerges from the shadows, firing a barrage of red beams. Unprepared, Daniel is hit and falls down. Brogan quickly draws his gun and takes cover behind a body, returning fire. The intense gunfight echoes through the corridor. After a while, only sporadic gunfire can be heard.
Daniel, are you okay?
Daniel clutches his injured leg, groaning in pain. Brogan bandages Daniel's wound, carries him on his back, struggling towards the bridge. Brogan, supporting Daniel, limps towards the bridge. The door shows signs of a struggle, with chaotic scratches and dents, as if something tried to force it open from the outside. Brogan hesitates, then slowly approaches the AI panel.
Authentication successful.
The control room door slowly opens, revealing a horrifying scene. Navigators and officers lie lifeless, their faces pale, slumped over the navigation tables. Judging by the pooled blood, they've been dead for some time. Cans and food wrappers are scattered around. The captain sits rigidly in his chair, head tilted, the communicator monotonously repeating,
We're doomed. This can't be...
His voice fades to a whisper. Brogan, in disbelief, approaches the captain, eyes fixed on his stiff body. He picks up the captain's sidearm. The communicator panel on the floor catches his eye. He picks it up, growing pale at the terrible message from Earth. 9 hours ago, Earth sent its last message. Without any warning, Earth was attacked by rebels using some doomsday weapons. Communications fell into an eerie silence thereafter. Brogan weakly leans against the wall, slowly sliding down, his gaze vacant. Suddenly, a loud noise comes from outside the door as if something is approaching. The door is violently struck, bending and creaking, ready to collapse. Daniel and Brogan instinctively raise their guns, aiming at the trembling door, time seeming to freeze. After what feels like an eternity, the banging stops and whatever it was moves away.
What was that?
Whatever it was, we need to...
Daniel interrupts him, a rare occurrence.
You don't get it. It's over. No command, no backup. It's all over.
Brogan, on the verge of breaking down, musters his last strength to stand.
No, it's not. Maybe Earth still has survivors. They need us now.
With renewed determination, Brogan addresses the captain's communicator panel.
Astra, what was that?
Error. Object not detected.
Suddenly, a heavy thud is heard. It's Daniel. He collapses backward, his face filled with despair just like the others. Brogan sits on the floor drinking, his eyes a mix of madness and dullness as fear slowly eats away at his sanity. That terrible sound returns and the door begins to groan. Brogan picks up the captain's gun, examining it from all angles before something snaps him back to reality. He pulls out a photo of his family. He gazes at the photo as if nothing else exists, everything around him fading to darkness.
Warp transition complete. Destination? Earth.
Brogan awakens to Astra's voice rushing to look out the bridge window. The ship communicator suddenly transmits.
Medusa, do you copy? What happened?
Brogan jumps up, grabbing the communicator, asking incredulously,
Where are the rebels? How is Earth?
Repeat, Medusa. What happened? Rebels? Were you attacked by rebels? Please respond.
The communicator's voice grows fainter, his mind buzzing. Ignoring his hunger and weakness, he asks Astra.
Report. Are there any survivors? How many rebels are still on the ship?
No rebel signs detected. 2 crews remain.
How is that possible? Where are they?
Ship log checked. No sign of rebel intrusions detected.
Brogan looks around in confusion. The dead captain still sits there, eerily lit by the sunlight, but the message panel in his hand is gone. He searches for it, even looking in the direction it came from. No deformation, no scratches. The door stands quietly. Brogan slowly thinks about everything, his mouth agape, suddenly understanding, his face turning pale as he looks towards the ship cargo direction.